That's wonderful. Name and everything. What was the name of you, Tom?
Boys, one girl.
We will. 251 days. You know.
Go ahead and call to order the annual meeting of the Board of Directors of the Kentucky and Regional Planning and Development Agencies. Today is Tuesday, October 23rd. I want to welcome everybody to the meeting. Thank you for coming out and attending. Nice to see faces and people again. Each meeting we seem to get more people coming out in person. Looks like we have one or two attending online. We had to wait a few minutes to get one or two others in attendance to have a quorum, but we do have that. After the meeting, we will have a lunch that will be served in this room. So, oh, it's actually next door. Oh, we need one.
We have a baseball field for a second.
Okay. I've sat in the dugout many times with that dinner, so not a problem. But I'm gonna turn it over to Jared for a roll call.
Thank you. Honorable John Black.
Here.
Honorable Bernard Foley.
Here.
Honorable John Logan Brent.
Here.
Honorable Sean Carruthers. Honorable Byron Chapman. Honorable Beverly Chester Burton.
Here.
Honorable Jack Kaufman.
Here.
Honorable Bill Dira.
Here.
Mr. Brian Dixon. Honorable David Eaton. Mr. Kevin Beatty.
Here.
Mr. Jeff O'Brien for the Honorable Greg Fisher.
Here.
Honorable Jeff Gahan. Mr. Keith Griffith. Honorable Treva Hodges. John Park for the Honorable Dan Ison.
Perfect time.
Know how to make it. Mr. Andy Krause for the Honorable Mike Zora. Honorable Todd Pollock. Here. Honorable John Riley. Honorable Joe Robinson. Honorable Jerry Summers. Honorable Rick Tonini. Honorable Jim Travis.
Here.
And the Honorable David Vogel.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Again, thank you everybody for coming. Moving on into the agenda, item number 4 is approval of the minutes from the October meeting. I need a motion and a second, if I could please.
So moved.
I'll step back here a minute. If you are, for those, I guess we just have one attending online. So if you're making a motion, please raise your hand or identify so we can see. We will do a voice vote as well as raise your hand for both those in favor of or in opposition to. So I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Those are approved. Regional Transportation Council, Randall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you hear. The Regional Transportation Council met in this meeting room right before the board meeting today.
Randall, hold on 1 second. Jeff, can you hear Randall speaking for that? Okay, he can hear you.
Okay. The first agenda item was to review the minutes of the August 23rd. We had a public comment period. Also talked about the county transportation updates in Henry, Shelby, Spencer, and Trimble counties. The fourth agenda item was Spencer Williams, KIPDA transportation planner, talked about the census, the KIPDA counties population changes from 2010 to 2020. Also had the next agenda item, we had District 5 come in and talk about snow and ice removal in the KIPDA counties. And another business talked about the KYTC statewide corridor study and also their new long-range transportation statewide survey. The next RTC will be at January 27th, 1 o'clock in the small conference room. Have a guest speaker, KYTC Mike Pay coordinator Keith Lovin to come talk to RTC. That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman. Review.
All right. Any questions for Randall? All right, need a motion and a second to accept his report.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That item is approved. Item number 6, Transportation Policy Committee. Andy?
Try it over here, see how this works. Just before this meeting, the TTC met in the room next door. We had a really good guest speaker from Origin Park. Origin Park, for those that don't know, is a park that's going to be developed right on the north, right where Silver Creek empties out into the Ohio River, border of Clarksville, New Albany, border of Clark County and Floyd County. Scott Martin, who worked with the Park Rangers of Floyd Sport, he came and gave us, I thought, what was a really informative presentation. I hope those that were in attendance enjoyed that. Some of the other business of that meeting included our Amendment 5 to our long-range plan, Metropolitan Transportation Plan Connecting Kentucky and 2040, and our Transportation Improvement Program. Amendment 5 is a relatively small amendment that has no projects that are what are called non-exempt projects. They're all exempt, so it's a rather quick amendment that will be processed probably within the hour. One of the other things, well, I'll talk more about it, is the kite award. We have a kite award. We'll talk about that in a second. And then Nick Vale and our staff gave a few updates about our KIPDA, some administrative modifications. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Andy. Any questions? I need a motion and a second to approve Andy's report, please.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, Andy, kite award.
Yes, sir. Every year at the annual meeting or in our November meeting, as it has been last couple of years now, we give out what's called the Kentucky Indiana Transportation Excellence Award. It's an award we came up with about 7 years ago now, and we like to award a local community or state DOT, whatever it might be, that has the most innovative project for that was either instructors in certain phases during the past year. So this year we had 7 nominees, 7 projects, 3 from Transportation Cabinet, 3 from Louisville Metro, and I believe 1 from Clarksville. And KIPDA staff and in conjunction with Chairman Beatty, we determined that the winner this year's kite award would be the Louisville Metro's Northeast Louisville Loop, Middletown Eastwood Trail Section 1. I think I have that right. Now, Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, if I got that one wrong. That trail is just opened in the past few weeks. It's out just east of the Gene Snyder. It's the first of, I believe, 4 sections that will connect just east of the Gene Snyder out to Beckley Creek Park. Okay, so and then ultimately it will connect to the Louisville Loop that will go all the way around our community. So that's kind of the east end portion, if you will, of the Louisville Loop. An award was given to Mr. Greg Owen of Louisville Metro Public Works. He couldn't be here at this meeting, but just wanted to let everybody know that Northeast Louisville Loop, Middletown Eastwood Trail Section 1 is the 2021 kite award.
Thank you. Moving on, agenda item number 8, ratification of CED division contracts. Danielle.
Hello, board. Yes, ratification actually it's for the ARPA administration contract, and it's on page 36 of your packet. We have 4 additional contracts that you need ratification and signature of those. That's for the city of Shively, Westwood, Hickory Hill, and Meadowview Estates. Action is requested.
Second. Have a motion and a second to approve those contracts. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye or raise your hand. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, continuing on, item number 9, hazard mitigation plan. Danielle.
Yes, so as you all know, we've been updating the regional hazard mitigation plan, and Olivia Rancine, who was leading that effort, has left KIPDA. So staff has been trying to pick up that responsibility. So there's been a bit of delay in the original deadline of us finishing that up. So we are hopeful that we are going to have that wrapped up in the month of December to take to the Regional Hazard Mitigation Council for approval. So I am requesting, since the board is not meeting in December, I am requesting approval for the executive committee to receive and approve the final and complete copy of the Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That item is approved. Danielle, continue on, please.
So I'm going to do just a brief update on Cdbgcv or Utility Assistance Grant and Senate Bill 36. So on the Cdbgcv, we are still waiting on some final documentation from one city in order to have all the evidence and material gathered for every entity who's applied for those funds in our region. Once we have received those, we're hopeful we'll receive those this week or the beginning of next week. We will submit those to DLG. They will review and approve the materials. And there's, from what I gather, what I've been told, there's a pretty quick turnaround on that. So once they review and approve, the release of those funds should happen relatively quickly. So I will be in touch with Tri-County and Multipurpose just to make sure that they are set up and prepared for the rollout of those funds. Once we have everything lined up, we will reach back out to you all to help you all promote that program in accordance with Tri-County and Multipurpose, depending on whichever entity you all utilize. Senate Bill 36 funding, you all, entities who receive Senate Bill 36 funding should be receiving a preliminary approval letter from KIA next month. So sometime in the month of December, you shall receive that. We have been advised that these funds, this program will work similar to your SRF program. They are still working out a few of the details of that, but I'm hopeful that by the time that you all receive your preliminary approval letter, that process will be completely ironed out, and then we can advise you all accordingly. If you have any questions about either of those items, please email me or my staff at any time.
Any questions for Danielle on that item? Thank you so much. Moving on, item number 11, senior centers update. Justin.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, before I forget to say that. So I have a couple agenda items, the first one being the senior center update. Currently, nothing to report differently about the days that they are open. But we were asked at the last board meeting to have legal review the guidelines from Dale. We did do that. They reviewed the guidelines from Dale, CDC, and CMS recommendations. At this time, social distancing is still being recommended, so therefore it will be maintained. With the plateau in cases and numbers, maybe we're hopeful that changes after the first year, but I did want to let you all know that we did walk through that process. And social distancing will still be a factor in our senior centers reopening and their activities. We'll do the best we can, keep everybody informed if that changes, to get back to normal business. I know we all want to, so if y'all have any questions about that, I'll be welcome to answer them, but I wanted to make sure you had that report.
Questions for Justin?
We are taking forward despite.
All right, item number 12, needs assessment.
So needs assessment, you should have received an email from us, and there are paper copies back by your board packets if you choose to grab one. Our needs assessment is our typical triennial needs assessment. We did have a 4-year plan extended because of COVID. But this year we've offered several different ways to do our needs assessment for social services. This is what drives our 3-year area plan and helps us direct funding. Please, please, please distribute this to everyone in your Outlook email boxes. Take them with you for Thanksgiving. It does have a link that you can type in. We've also added the fancy QR codes this year, so someone can run their phone across it, scan it, and then do the survey on their phone. There is a link on our website as well. This is for anyone and everyone, not just older adults and those with disabilities, but their caregivers and anyone who plays a role in services for them. So encourage anyone and everyone to fill this out, especially yourselves and your staff and your community members. We'll be happy if you want to take a bunch of paper ones, because you do have a group of persons that are more comfortable with that. We'll come pick them up and enter them ourselves. So I'd appreciate you all getting them out there to the community, letting me know if you need any more, we'll drop some more out to you. So we will, once we have the needs assessment back, the area plan is due at the end of March, so we'll present that at the March board meeting, the executive summary, to move forward and send it to Dale for approval. We're hoping that, obviously, we know our traditional needs here. They have been our top 3 needs for some time in our area plan, but we're hopeful that some of these responses allow us to move forward with some of the things we've learned during COVID, to add those directly into our services moving forward, such as virtual. We need to know if people prefer that, enjoyed it. We kind of have an idea about that, but this will help us to do those things officially. So, any questions about our needs assessment? Oh, lots of lunch today. I know y'all hungry. I'm hungry too.
thank you for sharing it online on the social media. I think that'll help all of us get that word out.
Absolutely, and if you all, your social media platforms, if you share it there as well, share away. We're hopeful, we hope to get a few thousand at least back. We've got a few hundred right now, but it's only been out a short time, so we appreciate you all sharing. Community events, let us know, we'll come out and hand them out. Yeah, thank you.
Moving on, item 13, open enrollment update. Jessica, you up again?
How to do it. So I'm going to go ahead, Beth's going to do this presentation with you if you want to come on up, Beth. But I'm going to talk to you very briefly to remind you that we're in Medicare open enrollment. These are back there as well, little postcards taken with you to your holiday events, hand them out. Medicare currently is in open enrollment until December 7th. So if you know somebody that's going through open enrollment, please get them connected to us. We can help them walk through their plans and their options. It is the only time that a person has an option to change a plan as well. So we are getting calls. So I know that you guys are out there sharing this in our office, but take a few of these. There's a flyer back there as well to help us. So just real quick, I'm going to read off here because I always forget which order these go in. So Medicare open enrollment, they can choose to reevaluate part of their Medicare coverage, their Medicare Advantage, or the Part D plan, and compare it against all other plans in the market. So that's what we do. If someone calls us about their Medicare plan, we put in their information, and then the system allows us to look at all the plans across the board. We then present that to the individual. We don't choose for them. We give them the information, and then they let us know if they'd like to choose a plan. We help them to walk through that in the system. So that's a little bit about how that works. We can also help them walk through things if they've had issues. We can help to problem solve. We also advocate for those that have had problems with Medicare coverage. So
It's done on the telephone.
we do it over the telephone, or if somebody needs to come in, they can come to us. Our providers are also in the community ship counselors, and they can go to them.
What is the shuttle?
The December 7th is the open enrollment end date, and then any changes that have been made between in the open enrollment period will take effect January 1st. And just so you know, if you have members in your community that have made a change early in the open enrollment, they will not get new cards until that period in between December 7th and January 1st. So if they say, oh my gosh, I made a change or I didn't receive this part of my Advantage plan, it rolls out through that period. So, or I've somehow gotten new cards in the mail, what's this? A change has been made. Information, so. And then I'll let Beth talk to you about Medicaid open enrollment. No questions? Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome, Beth.
Thank you. So I'm going to talk about Connect open enrollment, and Connect is both the Medicaid program and the qualified health plan. So up until the end of 2021, the qualified health plans were on healthcare.gov. They are back on the state-based exchange for 2022. We're very excited. There are 4 plans for 2022. In the past, there have only been 2. So Kentuckians have more options. And I do know for the Louisville metro area, specifically Bullitt, Jefferson, and Shelby, and I think Oldham have all 4 plans available. But everybody else in the KIPDA region will have at least 3 plans. So you will have more choices this year. That open enrollment period ends January 15th. But for coverage to be effective January 1, you need to select your plan by December the 15th. And I do have some metrics for you. These are not KIPDA specific. If you know, the KIPDA connector program serves the KIPDA region plus the Lincoln region. We kind of overlap, but as of the 15th of the month, remembering that open enrollment started November the 1st, there have been 68,000 Kentuckians enrolled in qualified health plans. 55,000 of those have qualified for payment assistance. So that is an advanced tax credit to help them make their premiums more affordable. There have been 7,300 new Medicaid applications so far this month. Anyone who does not qualify for Medicaid, their application, their eligibility is automatically run for the qualified health plan and the payment systems. And there have been over 48,000 visits to the new Connect website just since the beginning of November. So I think it's been a very effective rollout. Any questions?
Any questions for Beth?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Wow, we're moving quite quickly here. Item number 14, November personnel report. Kelly.
So let's see. We had one new hire in November, that's Jennifer Bledsoe. She's hired as our economic resiliency intern in the division of SED, effective November 8th. She's currently attending the University of Louisville to obtain a master's degree in urban planning. Prior to this, she received her Juris Doctor from the University of Chicago. She comes to KIPDA from Great State PLC, where she worked as an attorney. Promotions, we have Brittany Baines was promoted from Aging and Disability Resource Center Specialist 3 to the Aging and Disability Resource Center Coordinator in the Division of Social Services effective November 1st. Brittany has worked at KIPDA since August of 2015. Permanent position vacancy, we actually have a transition planning analyst in the Division of Social Services, formerly in the Russian position. And we do have two other positions that have since been added. We have the Budget and Contracts Administration Coordinator position in the Division of Social Services, which is Lynn Evans, she'll be retiring in March-ish. And then we also have a Grants Administration Planner in the Community Economic Development Division. So if you know anybody interested in those positions, please feel free to contact me with more information. We also will have those on our KIPDA website. Currently, we have 83 full-time permanent, 5 part-time permanent, 1 part-time temporary. That concludes my personnel report. Actions requested, there are no questions.
Any questions of Kelly?
I've got a general question.
Sure.
I know that certain wages are going up everywhere. What is the, and I know most of the positions are some type of degree or specialized degree. What is the lowest starting wage for position?
Require a bachelor's degree or not.
Both. So
I would say the lowest starting wage for maybe admin would be around 15 an hour. And I'd say probably the lowest entry level for the entry level for a professional position would be around 36, 35, something. It depends again on which.
that's with a bachelor's degree.
Yes. That's not social services, yes. Do you have questions?
I may have missed it, but the first person that you mentioned was a new hire. I didn't hear which position.
Oh, it's, she's Community Economic Development Division intern. So she'll be working in economic resiliency within the CED. Yeah, it's an intern that goes through actually
June 30th.
June 30th, thank you.
It was the EDA grant that was received for the economic resiliency. So it's a position that is funded in a grant, and then we're also hiring with the interim position.
Yeah, it's Jenna Graham's actually leaving at the end of December. So we're replacing that intern with someone else. Well, actually, the intern will be moving into Jenna's position. And then we'll replace the intern. So not confusing, but
Any other questions for Kelly? All right, action is requested here, so I need a motion in a second to accept the report.
So moved.
and before we move on,
Hold on a minute. I have a motion in a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, that item is approved.
okay, sorry.
That's okay.
I wasn't even, I just wanted to add, at this point, we have one item that's not on the agenda. It's a last minute thing. It's our surplus. We do, the surplus equipment and some, furniture every 1, 2, 3 years, depending. So I just wanted to let board know that we are actually in the process of surplusing out this equipment and furniture. So I'm going to pass these out. These are our surplus equipment list. And I will also email these to everybody as well. So if you see anything that you might, that your agency may be able to use, there's directions on who to contact here. Like I said, I will email these out as well.
Got rid of all the shares.
The computers all still have a good amount of life left on them. We're in a 4-year rotation. Jennifer could speak to any questions you'll have on computers, but again, the computers that are listed still have life left on them.
And you can also, if you want to see anything too, you can also make appointments to see the equipment. Just wanted to, that's just a, I mean, action on that, just wanted to notify everybody about that. And what we do, just for those who may not know, we make this available to our board first, and then whatever's left, we will actually put out to the public. So we do an advertisement to the public, letting them know that we have this equipment that they can bid on. And then again, after that process, we make it available to KIPDA staff, so whatever's left. And then after KIPDA staff, we may put it out to the board if there's anything, we'll either donate it, recycle it, or make it available to anybody who may need it. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me or you bid on it. Yeah. So highest bidder wins.
No minimum charge.
No. We've had things go for
$5.
Yeah, $5.
$1 a piece.
Yeah, $1, yeah, maybe.
All right, next item, Kelly, building maintenance contracts.
Okay. So in this report, I have to tell on myself because last month, I think it was last month, I sought board approval to issue maintenance RFPs for building maintenance, and there were 7 of them. And I went through the motion. I've done this, I don't know how many times, put an ad in the paper, sent out letters to different, multiple vendors for each of the maintenance contracts. Received the bids back in last week, and the response was unimpressive. And I'm not sure if this has to do with the labor shortage or what, but of the 7, we really only received, there were 2 RFPs that had 2 responses. We had 3 RFPs that had 1 response, and then 2 RFPs that received no response. So I'm telling on myself because technically we probably didn't have to issue these RFPs, at least the majority of them, because we updated our procurement standards in 2019, which I wrote and forgot about. and stating that, along with the Kentucky state guidelines that, they increased the procurement up to 30,000. So if it's something between under 5,000, it's considered a micro purchase. If it's between 5 and 30, it's considered a small purchase. And there's different steps you have to take depending on what level, the service or product costs. So within these 7 maintenance RFPs, really only 1, the cleaning RFP, would have required if you put out to bid, because that would have exceeded 30,000 over the course of the 3-year contract. So we only received 1 bid on that. So my recommendation is to rebid that, because I would like to at least see 2 or 3 bids on the cleaning contract. So that bid I would like, or that RFP I would like to rebid. We have the HVAC, we received 2 proposals on, and I would actually like to continue to contract with Automatic Air, who's been with us for years. We received 2 proposals. The other one was thousands of dollars more for what annual service we do receive. And Automatic Air puts us on a priority list, so I do kind of want to contract with them because it will put us on a priority list, and will also, it avails us the discount on labor and parts. So would like to reissue the cleaning RFP, would like to contract with Automatic Air for the HVAC. And then the other 5 building maintenance, plumbing, electrical, garbage, recycling, lawn, and pest control. I recommend that you follow our procurement guidelines, which I wrote back in 2019. Under small purchase procedures, and contact 3 vendors whose services would exceed 5,000 but less than 30,000. And then those micro purchases, which are under 5,000, would be awarded without quotes if it's determined and documented by our staff that the price to be paid is reasonable. For example, our pest control is $27 a month. We really don't need to.
Does the cleaning contract exceed 30,000 annually?
No.
Or just over 3?
Over 3 years.
So.
So it's annual,
It's
so we
annual.
have to do, okay,
Only thing is, since you've already put it out for bid,
Yeah.
you caused yourself a problem.
okay.
And you can't put it out for bid again unless you have a substantial change to the bid. The person that did it anticipated.
Okay.
So you got to think of some way to make that a different, change it in some way substantially, not just say, hey, we want you to sweep through or something.
Okay.
Change on the cleaning would be to go to a 1-year contract versus 3.
Yeah, I would actually prefer that
You
too.
can do 1 year or 2. Your bid, other ones that you want not to do.
Yes.
And then you get
We do have in the RFP that we can accept or reject any and all bids. It's a clause, I don't know if that helps.
I'm not here right now, that's all.
I just don't, I read about an attorney. I can take the ones you did for the cleaning, you're already bid it, you got to do something. And change the terms.
So at this point,
Kelly, same thing.
just change them. But did you forget all about it? Save.
So the action that you are requesting.
Is to, yeah, to reissue, so yeah, I'd like to contract with Automatic Air for 3 years. That would be the
They're the
HVAC.
lowest bid.
Yes. Of the two. And then,
I'd make a motion to give Automatic Air the bid for the AC and negotiate the other bids except for, negotiate all the other bids
okay,
at a different time.
okay.
Second.
Oh, yeah, actually, that's what I prefer. Yeah.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions or further discussion? All those in favor say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. KIPDA staff longevity, item number 16, Kelly. Go up.
Thank you, I still have a job, y'all. Okay, so we do this usually at our annual luncheon and, just sort of recognize our staff who's been here. We do have, a lot of longevity, and you guys know that, so I just like to recognize, that some of them are here and some are not, but, I'll start with the 10 years of service. Dia Erpenbeck, who's our assistant and case management coordinator in social services and home care, if you're familiar with that term. That's Dia Erpenbeck is that coordinator. Lynn Evans, who's actually here, she's our budget and contracts administrator in Division of Social Services, been here 10 years. Thank you, Lynn. Bethany Romanov is a social services planner. He has been here for 15 years. She's not here. Jared Chisholm, our database technician in our IT department, has been here 15 years. He's no longer, or he's not here today. But Andy Rush, who is our director of transportation, has been here 15 years. Yay, thank you. Herzog and Aaron Jones, who are GIS specialists, have been here both 20 years. They're not here today, but to them. I myself have been here for 25 years. And Tom Poe beat me, the director of finance, has been here 35 years.
In your 40.
That's right. Exactly. I'm going to add him to our cleaning RFP. That concludes my report. No action is requested on that.
All right,
You want an alternate on that. Calls for KIPDA without Tom's office and calls. We love you, Tom. Couldn't resist you too.
Knows for every paper.
All right, Tom, it's time for redemption here. Item 17, the 2021 audit update.
All right, yeah, can do redemption. We don't have the draft to present today. We've run into some delays. Everything's been going okay with the work that's being done. The auditor's been in and they've done a lot of the work. We've got the draft of the audit and they're looking at that, and that still has to go through their internal review, and then it'll be reviewed by the state auditor. All ads have to have the audits reviewed by the state auditor before they can be released. We have a bit of a dilemma in that our contract with the Department of Aging and Independent Living requires that our audit be received by our board and submitted to them by December 31st. The auditors feel that they can accomplish having that finalized by December 31st. We would request that the board authorize that the executive committee receive the audit, the final audit, to be done in December. So we can submit that to Dale.
Have a motion and second to allow the executive committee to receive the KIPDA fiscal year 2021 audit to satisfy requirements by the state. Any further questions? All those in favor say aye, raise your hand. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That item is approved. Item number 18, intergovernmental affairs. Looks like we have two Jefferson County Elder Serve Adult Daycare Center, Cdbgcv project. I got it right, Danielle.
Right.
And item B, Jefferson County DR 4595 MSD Elda Drive acquisitions. I think both of those can be taken at once. So I need a motion and a second if I could, please.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Item number 19, nominating committee was going to be Honorable John Riley. In his absence, Jared is going to handle that item.
Thank you, Chairman. The nominating committee is Spencer County Judge Executive John Riley, Middletown Mayor Byron Chapman, and Floyd County Commissioner Shine Crothers met to present the following slate of officers for board consideration for 2022. The chairman would be Oldham County Judge Executive David Vogel. The vice chairman would be Shelby County Judge Executive Dan Eisen. Secretary Treasurer and the new members of the executive committee would be St. Matthews Council Member Bernie Bowling, and then the immediate past chairman Kevin Beatty. So again, board action is requested to approve the nominating committee's 2022 slate of officers.
There's a motion and a second to approve the slate of officers.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion or questions, comments? All those in favor say aye or raise your hand. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right. Item number 20, bank resolutions. Tom?
Thank you. Every year after there's a new nominating or a new executive committee that's been established, we ask for approval for new authorized signers for our bank accounts. We would ask for the board to approve the new executive committee, as well as Mayor Chapman, because he's in the area a lot and come by to sign checks. He's agreed to continue to be available, and Jarrett and myself to sign checks. We would have two signatures on checks, and in addition to the authorized signers, we would ask that the board approve that Jenny Lee, who is our accountant, to be able to stop payments. She couldn't sign a check. She can stop payments. Standard Fifth Third Bank resolution. Any questions?
Motion approved.
motion, a second to approve signing of bank resolutions, signing of checks, and process for stop payment of checks when necessary. Any further discussion?
Not often, but sometimes people will lose a check or something, and it's not very frequent. Occasionally, we'll have somebody say, "Well, I didn't get my check." You know, we know.
Any further questions? All right, all those in favor say aye or raise your hand. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That item is approved. Executive Director's report, Jared.
I'll do the executive director's actions first. We have, as has been discussed earlier, there will be no meeting in December. In years past, we have requested executive director action, the ability to take action regarding agency matters in the interim before the January meeting in order to continue the flow of business. Obviously, if anything out of the ordinary is presented, that would be presented to the executive committee as we discussed earlier with the ratification plan and the audit. So any other items will also be brought to the executive committee, but just the typical everyday action items, action is requested for executive director action, and all those items will be brought back to the January meeting for ratification.
So moved. Second. A motion second, directing the executive director to make the decisions necessary for the agency during the month of December. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, sign. Approved. Executive director's report.
Well, first, I want to thank Mayor Deerup and Jefferson Town for inviting us and allowing us to use these facilities. We're looking forward to everybody joining us for lunch immediately afterwards. This meeting's a little bit shorter today since we don't have the typical lot of presentation, but Council meeting complains about that. But it is really good seeing everybody back together. I think this, well, I don't think it's the first time since February of 2020 that we've had so many people in person. So thank you all for joining us. And I know over the course of the past 2 years, it has been a tremendous challenge on the local level. So I really want to thank our board members for continuing to participate. We have had a quorum at every board meeting since the pandemic began, despite people having to join remotely or in person. So thank you all for allowing us to continue doing business, serving our region. That also goes, the executive committee has been called on quite often over the course of the past 2 years. So I want to thank Chairman Beatty, Judge Eisen, Judge Vogel, and Mayor Chapman for their service this year on the executive committee. And also, KIPDA is fortunate to have a strong presence on the Kentucky Council of Area Development Districts. This is the governing body of the area development districts within the state of Kentucky. And Judge Riley and Mayor Deerup have represented KIPDA on the KCADD board, so thank you all. And it's also very important to recognize our staff. The challenges that have been presented, the workload that has increased, our staff continues to rise to the demands. I think that if you work with them, you all can attest to just how professional and dedicated our staff is. So really just want to recognize our staff because they have done a tremendous job. It's an honor to work with them. Looking ahead to next year, the Regional Planning Council will meet on January 11th at 11 a.m. The Regional Water Management Council will meet January 11th at 1:30 p.m. The Transportation Policy Committee will meet January 27th at 12:30. The Regional Transportation Council will meet January 27th at 1. And then the January KIPDA Board of Directors meeting will meet January 27th at 2. And this will be the first meeting led by Judge Vogel. So with this being the last meeting for Chairman Beatty, I do want to thank him because he has been very dedicated coming to every meeting this year for both the Transportation Policy Committee and the board. We would like to present you with this little gift of gratitude and thank you for all of your efforts this year.
A little happy.
All right. But upon adjournment, we will migrate down to the room next door. In the past, we've had kind of formal luncheons. This year is informal. It's just everybody to get together and fellowship. So hope everybody will stick around.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to echo what you had said about staff. I've been here almost 20 years. I think top to bottom, this is the best staff that we've had to work with. I appreciate you all.
like to thank the staff, of course, and I'd like to thank Kevin for his leadership this year.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank Jared. I think Jared's done an excellent job. He's been present in many meetings across the state, some of which I've been at, and some of which I haven't. He's been out there representing KIPDA in a really aggressive manner, I think, speaks well of our organization. We should be leading ad district in this state, and I think I'm the chair of the leadership.
I was going to say second to that. The only one thing I would add to it is, when you step into the role of a chairman, you often wonder what you're getting into. But I can definitely say, and will pass along to you, Judge Vogel, that the time that you will spend here is very minimalized because of the professional staff we have. They do such a good job. They keep you up to date on what's going on. And I don't want to say it's a rubber stamp act, but the amount of time that you have to donate here will be appreciated, but it will be minimal because of the excellent staff that we do have. So congratulations to the board. All right, any other directions for moving in?
Mayor Deere, if you want to say anything, since we are in your home.
Well, as I've always said, this J-Town is considered the hallmark of the state, but I have to take that hallmark emblem and give it to John Black down there, because he is going to be a noteworthy city on HGTV. He is doing several, as far as city renovation, building renovation, all downtown. So I have to give you a lot of credit for them picking you as the city nationwide, 1 of 5 across the nation, 6 across the nation that is going to pick to be that person. So congratulations, Mayor. You did a great job.
I'm pretty shrewd him getting his own home renovated.
We haven't announced that yet.
That's why you couldn't tell me which home it was.
He's getting ready to buy that home.
All right, any other business to come before the board?
How much we give City of J-Town for these 2 rooms today? Just hitting you back there. No, if we did, that's fine. I'm just messing with you. No, good. Thank you for having us over here today.
We didn't charge anybody but Oldham County. They have all the money out there, and we're gonna pass along to Hardin County.
All righty, hearing nothing to come before the board, I will adjourn the meeting at 11:55.